Yes, this is John G. Sutton. Tales from the Jails. Do you know who this man is? Do you know? It's Ronnie Pickering! Who? You know who I mean. Ronnie Pickering! Yes, folks. And Ronnie Pickering, he is a subscriber here on this channel. You can see his notes. He often sends like little epigrammatic messages. And Ronnie Pickering and I will have met before. When I was a jailer at Strangeways, Ronnie Pickering, he was there as a Borstal trainee. Now, I have spoken to Ronnie about this, but I've messaged him about this, and I wouldn't mention anybody who's currently here on this planet Earth, not in the next dimension. If they're in the next dimension, well, you can't defame the dead, and I wouldn't defame anybody anyway. But Ronnie Pickering, he was here, folks, and he was in Strangeways Jail as a Borstal trainee. Well, going in the Borstal Allocation Centre, and apparently he didn't like it. From what Mr. Ronnie Pickering tells me, he was given a clap round the ear by one of the staff. And listen, let me tell you this. I'll just talk a little bit about the Borstal Allocation Centre and what used to happen. There was an officer on there. God knows I've forgotten his name now. But he was on G4 landing. And they used to shout the landings down for lunch, you know, for breakfast and lunch and evening meal. And this particular officer must have had a sound of strange sense of humour. Instead of shouting G4, he used to shout, this is no joke, and there'll be people who are watching this who may remember this maniac. He used to shout, E-R! He didn't shout G4, he did an impersonation of a donkey. E-R! I kid you not. Yeah, he was just one of the strange characters who was on the landing. There was one particular character who worked at Strangeways, and this is God's honest, I just don't know why he did this, but he used to pretend that he was in a darts match. And he'd stand on the landing. The doors would be, everybody would be banged up, but he would be on patrol or whatever. He'd be standing on the landing and he'd get his imaginary darts in his hand like that. Line it up, seriously, line it up like that. And he'd make a little noise like, then he'd get the next one up. Throw it like that. No darts, no dartboard, no nothing. Pick the third one up. Throw it, yeah. Then he'd walk about 6 steps. His left hand, take the imaginary darts out of the imaginary dartboard like that. Seriously. Then walk back 6 paces and do it all again. I said to him, you do realise, you know, that there is no dartboard there. Don't interrupt me while I'm playing darts. Seriously. I mean, you've got to start asking yourself, you know, is he in the wrong job? Should he be in the asylum? There were a number of them that were really strange, you know, the staff. I mean, I kid you not. And when I first joined, I used to smoke. I haven't smoked for 47 years. But when I first joined in 1975, I smoked. And the staff used to smoke as well. But you weren't allowed to walk around the landings with a fag. So what they used to do was go into the recess. This is grown men, grown adult men, prison officers, hats, chains, bell, whistle, all the lot, truncheon, into the toilets and smoking, yeah. And if you were working with them, they'd say, just watch out while I nip in and have a cigarette. So they were standing in the toilet smoking cigarettes. And to my utter disgrace and shame, I did it myself. And I thought, I was at the Scrubs at the time, and I thought, John, you are not 10 years old. You're not going into the lavatory smoking cigarettes like you did when you were in the Boy Scouts. No, you're not doing it. So I stopped smoking. I stopped there and then, cold turkey. I tell you, there was no patches or nicotine chewing gum, nothing like that. You had to go cold turkey. And you wouldn't think it, but I'm telling you, that really hurt me because I was hooked. 40 Benson Edges a day I used to smoke. And from going 40 Benson Edges today to absolutely nothing was one day. And I realised, that I couldn't allow myself as an adult to be going into lavatories full of piss and excrement and filth all over the floor, smoking cigarettes. It's just demeaning. I didn't do it, but a lot of the staff did, and they were still doing it when I left. Yeah, seriously. Anyway, it's a big shout out to one of the subscribers here who's been very kindly mentioning lots of things about the aspects of my broadcasts. He's a former customer of Strangeways Prison, and he's now a very well respected man, internationally famous on the internet. He won't tolerate any messing about with the motorbike gang. He got his own, I think it's a Citroen Picasso or something like that. Anyway, it's some kind of super sports car. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll recognise his name when I tell you it's Ronnie Pickering. Yes, there you go. Thanks, Ronnie, and thank you all. Maybe subscribe. The name's John G. Sutton.